Hi guys!
Hello!
Hi! Welcome to our first quarter meeting.
Hopefully they do continue.
Okay, so today I just wanted to go through our wins and misfortunes, I guess.
Okay, you want to recap the quarter?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
I do. So I've literally not got anything for January. It's a complete blur for what happened in January this year.
Yeah, I think we got in front as much as we could with production, but we was carrying quite a lead time into the new year. And I think that was off the back of once things were clearer from the COVID side, orders just went stupidly high and just kept getting higher. So having to have that and recruit more people, we did the best we could. But we got into January, I think, was just hit the ground running, but it was really, really busy.
It was. We also had the year-end meeting with Lisa, who is our accounts lady.
Yeah.
She's not our accounts lady, we obviously hire her in. And that was the first year, I believe, that we've not had any problems with any of the accounts. And that is off the back of last year I don't want to use the word got rid of, but we then had no accounts team. And then myself, Michelle and Ash all kind of clubbed together, reduced the processes the best we could so that we now do not need an accounts team at all. We've simplified it that much that we can just do little bits and bobs here and there throughout the week, and our accounts are so clean. So, like I say, it was the first year that we have had no problems. So that was a big win.
I think it's difficult for when you're a lean thinking company and you want things kind of very process based, but you're trying to reduce waste. Everything that the customer doesn't want to pay for, the customer doesn't want to pay to get invoiced. They want their product. They want to pay to chase debts and run payroll and other things. And trying to find somebody in an accounting background that understands that, I think, is incredibly difficult. So I think the clashes and things we've had with people in the past trying to fill that role, finally, once we'd taken the decision that we didn't need that role and we were just going to figure it out. And I think you always find it's the way when somebody goes, that's when the innovation happens, because you're forced to sort it out. And I think between the two of you, kind of nailed that job down. I think Zero helps having Zero instead of Sage. I don't think we could have done the same thing on Sage.
Definitely.
I think that's cloud-based.
I was looking at, because I've done the accounts through the years for the invoicing. So I was looking at that the other day. It used to take us 10 weeks or something throughout the year to complete invoicing. And I think now it's at 7 days it takes us.
Currently. I mean, if you add up all the time spent invoicing throughout the year, it adds up to 10 weeks worth of hours. Yeah.
But that is when we started clean. So 9 years ago, it used to take us over 10 weeks to process all of our invoices. So 10 weeks, the accounts person would just be sat there processing invoices, and now it's 7 days.
It's crazy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think, and Serena sort of saying it's cleaner, I think it's because we're more in control of what we do with it, rather than not like shoeboxing it, but we used to have a lot of stuff. They would say, "Oh, we'll ask Lisa about that at the year end. We'll ask about that at the year end," and we just leave stuff up, and then they'd have to do quite a bit of work, and then ask us what happened with this piece of equipment or machinery, and where's all receipts for this trip and things like that. Because we're on top of that in real time, then literally had no questions. I think you're even doing the own depreciation and things now on a monthly basis. So super control. She was dead impressed.
Not me.
But Lisa was like really impressed. So, I mean, you're paying for a chartered accountant. It's not cheap, and you don't want to be paying them just to sort the receipts out. You want to pay them for the financial advice going forward.
Yeah.
So her being able to do that this year was brilliant.
Yeah.
I think Serena's now budgeting as well for this year. So you're putting budgets in, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I mean, from when I obviously first started, I had no background in accounts or anything like that. So I've had to learn a lot along the way. And I guess the last year I've tried to kind of understand best I can and research where I need to, anything to do with the accounts. And that's led us to be where we're at now with what we've got.
Yeah. Our credit controls, times better as well.
Oh, amazing. If anybody's like 10 days over an invoice date now, it's so rare.
Yeah.
It is incredibly rare.
The cash flow is brilliant.
Shouldn't be admitting that as a company how rubbish we are, but it is what it is.
I do think that's probably a factor of you hire an accountant, say lady in, and you kind of just expect that they would be on top of it, but that's not always the case. So I think because we do it obviously ourselves now, we are very strict with anything like that, because it's like, well, as a company you want that rich cash flow, and obviously that's not a huge priority to somebody that's just doing the invoicing, payroll and bits and bobs. So
I think that's, again, from the lean side, it's how are you improving everything. If you're just doing your job daily, anybody in any role, if you're just doing your job daily, and we said it in a morning meeting yesterday in the factory, was if you always do what you've always done, you're always going to get what you've always got. So what is it you're actually improving? Reducing waste and saving it for the customer. So how far off are we from throughput accounting?
We are looking into it. We should be very close by the end of this year. It's not a lot that goes into it, in the sense that once it's up and running, it pretty much runs itself, but the background to get it there is what's going to take the most amount of time.
You just want another trip to Utah, don't you?
Yeah. I can't deny that.
So what else happened in January?
I believe it was, we started looking at wanting to podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
I think when did we redo the vision?
Just before Christmas.
Yes.
Last quarter, wasn't it? So I think we'd put it in, but I think during January, I think we all got a little frustrated with things. I don't know where people were down a little bit, but I think one of us, definitely wasn't me, but one of us kicked it back in to say, are you really acting in line with your vision? You've done all that, but what are we actually doing now it's done? And we put it up on the wall. And I think we look back at that at some point. It was January or February. I don't know which one of you, or Jesse or somebody, kicked into it and said, are we doing that? And we looked at it again and said, I think we was coming up with a management review with QMS.
It was, I believe, February time.
Yeah, I think that kicked into touch, and we reviewed that, and that was part of, well, we need the videos and things happening, the YouTube channel bringing back up and sharing more stuff out.
I feel like we started off with a podcast because, let's face it, me and Serena have never done YouTube videos before. And Ash, like, trying to get you to do YouTube videos is like trying to nail jelly to the wall. So it's been a struggle. So I think we started off with the podcasting, and that kind of fell by the wayside. And then we started with the YouTube stuff now. And I'd love to actually do a podcast, but I'm not sure we're quite there yet.
YouTube started doing these videos in the past month. ish.
Yeah.
And you've gone from like zero of not doing anything for years of saying videos to all of a sudden putting like these amazing
That's
videos.
just how we roll. We just roll like that.
All or nothing. All or nothing.
Just like suddenly walk in and Serena's there with the tripod on and filming herself.
Yeah, she is.
Video. I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I think, do you not think that by the time you've done this now, doing a podcast is going to be really easy?
Maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So we've gone into February. Now this is where I think February I started to get frustrated because I felt like January had gone by so fast, and I think I said to Serena, what have we actually achieved?
Yeah.
And then I think we then had frustrations February, and I know it all kind of came to a head mid-February, didn't it? With Jessie being frustrated as well.
Yeah. I think that's sorry. When we ended up with that, having that whole meeting to kind of get that vision nailed, the KPIs running, or at least, and it started trying to get something written down so that we all had a purpose. I think because there were so many frustrations from maybe Michelle, myself, and Jessie a little bit, I think, but not so much. But me and Michelle kind of just ended up on a Zoom call and was kind of just like, okay, we need something because we can't have another year where we've got no purpose.
Yeah, but I think this is why I kind of wanted to record these, because we always get to the end of the year, and bar last year was the first year I didn't have my Christmas cry to Ash about, we've done nothing this year. But it's so easy to get wrapped up in all the negative throughout the year that, like, I can't believe over the past month in March, I can't believe how much things have changed at work, people's confidence and everything. And we've got it all wrote down, but it's a completely different company to work at this month than it was at the start of the year.
Definitely.
So, we did start to put together new things. I think we started putting together the new website in February.
Yeah.
We, because our old one's not great. But then, start of March was when we kind of said, right, KPIs, let's get our act together.
Was that part of reviewing, because we've had KPIs before, we've had different management systems before, we've looked at the OS, we had Steve in, which is action coaching, we've had different people we've spoken to, and we went through a lot with Cost Taylor, helped us massively with Jeff Costs going to the Toyota Kata, and I was thinking of him the other day because I heard his name mentioned, and I thought we need to go back and get in touch with him because we're still part of it, and then it was just as Serena was going off on maternity, so we knew we could do enough, some with it, but not progress it too much. But there's still elements of it. I think that's the thing. I think companies get too hung up with, I need this one golden chalice, I'll go do this one thing and then that'll solve this. We'll just put EOS in and we'll just put this in. And I know there's loads of people that are doing it, and I see their videos about things and conversations and they get stuck on things. I think you're trying to tailor your whole company around how to work on one thing. But I think the thing that happened with us February with conversations and KPIs is we did critically look at the different systems and say which element of each system works for us. How much do we want to change to work with the system because we know it's the right thing to do, and how much does that a particular system not work for us? We don't want that. So I think we've taken key elements from them, and I know we definitely hammered through those KPIs really critically to look at something and then say, okay, but how are you going to prove that? And then we'd rewrite the KPI. And I think even this week, we rewrote some of the KPIs. Not necessarily to choose something different, but to just define it down a little bit more.
Yeah, with that, I think it's all stemmed from just confirming that vision. And before Christmas, when we actually put a company vision in place, it's the first time that we've sat down, because I know probably throughout the years we've maybe had 3 cracks at it, maybe a few more. But this is the first company vision that I actually really relate to. And when we were picking our KPIs this time, it was very much, do those KPIs head us towards that vision? And everything was linked so well, in my opinion. And we were very, very critical, I think, this year. And we still are being critical if we're still changing things 3 weeks into it.
Yeah. I think previously we've tried to pigeonhole ourselves into one, like Ash just said, like one method of what other people use, but because we've kind of picked little bits out of each kind of one, it gave us more freedom with the KPIs. I think we've always tried to put a KPI in place that wasn't quite right because that was the right thing to do with said system that we were trying to use. But because we've kind of broken it down, it's allowed us to have the freedom with it to understand that you don't have to have it so rigid and you can let it, I don't know what word to use, sorry.
I think it flows better at the minute.
Yeah.
I think the ability to address it, I think the enthusiasm and motivation is higher when you know you're trying to achieve something you want to achieve as opposed to something you don't. Yeah, definitely.
I think when we've tried to do this in the past, we've put these KPIs in place and they just don't resonate with us, which is why it's always fallen apart. But with these ones, because we're kind of aware of the fact that they're not set in stone and you can tweak it, we've been in line with the vision, but we've stuck to it and we know that that's the priority and that's what's going to get us towards that end goal or company vision. Whereas I don't think we've had that previously.
Yeah. You find that when we've worked with people in the past, they find it really hard to understand our vision or the way we want to work.
Yeah.
I think because we sell through resellers, I think a lot of time people struggle to connect with like our customers, and I think trying to explain that it seems complex in some way.
Yeah.
I think we made it more about us than an external force this time, which made it easier for everybody in the company to kind of get behind.
Yeah.
I also wrote down that I think it's the first week, so maybe the 7th, we had the QMS audit.
Yeah.
So that went really well. I know we were talking about that earlier. Really well. I'm sure it's either 3 or 4 years, might be 3 years. This is the 3rd year. So we transferred it onto Trello year 1, made it all electronic. And then since we've done that, we've not had any minor non-conformances or any non-conformances at all. I think our audit's gone from 1 full day of 2 guys being here to 1 virtual guy here this time for 4 hours. So
it was really good. He said he really tried to find something wrong in the system. And he said for ISO, is it ISO 9001? Yeah. He said as a system, the systems that we have in place and the way we run it, a lot of it is so much higher than the requirements actually ask for. It's an absolute pleasure to auditors, and so that our ultimate goal, because we're doing it through Trello and everything, our ultimate goal would be that they can come in, we can give them an iPad, log them into our Trello account, and then they can just go off. Everything they need is attached through Trello, or a QR code or something. They can scan it and get everything they need, do all the audit, and just sign off on it. But yeah, he said
that's my aim for next year.
Yeah, but he said it was. He's an oldish guy. He's been around. He's worked for a lot of places and audited a lot of companies, and he has an engineering manufacturing background that he had, and he said that it's one of the best systems he's seen, and if other people adopted what we do just in part, it would make his life a lot easier.
Yeah.
Sure, and people's systems would be a lot better. But I think it's odd because when we first got ISO 9000, it was around like 1992, and it was purely so we could deal with the Ministry of Defence. They required it, and it's progressed over time now. Whereas a lot of people don't require that kind of system now. But you either embrace it and run your company on it, or you're just ticking boxes to be able to have it as a certificate, and an endorsement. But I think we're using it now. I don't know. It's just the way we work from a lean perspective, and the way we use processes, and the way we use Trello and things. It is naturally that system anyway.
Yeah, so much. It's when we migrated it from paper to electronic, it was a breeze because, like you say, we're already using Trello. We've already got processes on there, so it was super easy. But I couldn't do the QMS system without the team that I've got. I mean, Jesse, just the way he manages all the his QMS boards to do with machines and stuff. So the way he looks after that, the way Dale takes control and does his audits, and the way that Faye does her audits, it just makes it so easy that I just have to check on the system a couple of times a year now. I don't actually have to manage it; it manages itself.
Yeah,
I've got a good team to help me.
I think it self flags up when there's issues as well.
Yeah.
Which is good. Yeah, so we got through that in February. What else did we do?
We started using Talent LMS, started putting things in Talent LMS for training.
Yeah. So that was a video call with Angel.
From Phoenix.
What's Angel's last name?
Sanchez.
How do you not know that?
Angel Sanchez at Phoenix in LA. We was there a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Not me, Serena.
Yeah, we were there. For the Lean Summit.
Yes.
And seeing their system was really good. So, and I haven't actually logged into it and looked, but I keep seeing things pop up on it, but I've not looked yet of what you're doing on it. But all the training is migrating across to.
Yeah. Yep, so that's going from a Excel sheet, I believe, Google Sheet, sorry. That's going from that onto Talent LMS now. So when Faye is inducting people, she'll just log them into Talent LMS and they'll do their inductions and stuff on there. So her time now is probably halved, at least, because she started videoing things that she would have done with the new starter, and she's popped that on there. So that's looking really good. So another 6 weeks, the induction should be totally finished.
Yeah.
So quality of training will improve.
Yeah.
I want to talk.
No, you go.
I did want to really pick up on the team's confidence this month. That's like the biggest thing for me. Out of everything that's happened, team confidence.
So why do you think that's improved?
Maybe because we got our act together at the beginning of the month. I think from having a clear vision, clear goals that were then translated into the morning meeting, because Serena had done us a slide with we'd done goals, hadn't we, for the office and the factory.
I'm sorry.
So they could clearly see everything. And she gave. You did that in the morning meeting, didn't you?
I did, yes. There was 3 kind of areas to cover. So one was to do with the business, one was to do with the factory, and one was to do with the office.
Yes. Yeah, so we had so many videos, didn't we? so many a target to move up the matrix, so it's culture based, wasn't it?
And lead time, YouTube video, training videos, and the matrix.
Is that company vision on the website?
It's not. No. It's not. It'll be on the new website for sure.
That was a very judgy look, Ashley.
I know it was. I got scolded then, did you? I got scolded. But yeah, I think the morning meetings, you did mention when we spoke a bit ago, Ash, that you think now that they've gone a little bit stale again.
Yeah, I think we closed it down to have 2 people running it so that we could coach them. I possibly think we failed on the coaching a little bit. I think we sort of get out of that meeting because of the content of the meeting. That's in our heads to go deal with, and we're not going back necessarily and helping the people that have taken the meeting. We're not then mentoring them on how to have a better meeting. But I think me watching some of them back, it's different watching it back than when you've been in it. I think they're getting their bit out from the meeting, but they're not then, when there's the discussions, they're not pushing people enough. When somebody says, oh, I really like this idea, my takeaway from the video is this, there's not the next question of, so how do you think we could implement that? What is it that's holding us back from doing that? And I know there's still maybe blank looks when you get that because they don't know, but it's the whole, if you know you're going to be asked, you start to think about it. When you actually when you're thinking about what the good bit is, you know you're going to get asked how to implement it. So I think they need to go to another level of discussion somehow.
So maybe that's something to work on next quarter.
Yeah.
From watching them back, because I obviously only watch them back, I think the videos that they're posting in now are of like a way higher quality than we ever have been. The way that they're trying to share their knowledge is far better than what they were in previous months. And I feel like the 2 guys that were taking it, and then obviously we have thrown Dale in midweek to a midweek meeting.
Yeah.
I think their enthusiasm is up, but then I think the rest of the team can be a little bit flat for some reason, and I think it probably then, they've not got the enthusiasm to keep the meeting host going.
I would definitely agree with Ash on the sense that when you are in the meeting, it's so different, because I've been working from home in the mornings over the past few weeks to film with you. I've watched the morning meeting back for the ones that I've missed, and it's so different watching it back because you can kind of critique it, not in a negative way, but you can critique the fact that they're not picking up certain elements that you would like them to. Whereas when you stood in that meeting, you kind of just like, yeah, all right. And then it's the next thing. You just brush over it. So I would definitely say we do need to mentor the people that do host the meetings, because we've, like Ash said, we've just left them to it. It's kind of like, yeah, they're way better than they've been for a long while, so great. But there's no extra stuff. Like, we're not mentoring them, we're not giving them any advice or critique or anything like that. It's just, yeah, good job. It's yours again in 2 days.
Yeah.
Right, so we've failed on that front.
Yeah.
Which is
it's better, and I think we've had that win from that, but we need to keep running.
This is the next step. Right. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough. So then you had your Yellow Tools visit as well.
Yeah. So me, Faye from Culture, and Jessie from Operations went over to see Michael Yellow Tools. Jessie's been before, obviously, I think once or twice, but Faye's never been. So she's been with us for a year, and obviously she's responsible for the cultural side and development and social media and things of the business. So she's never been to another lean company, and to go to Michael's, it's like it's everything at once. Like, I think when you first went, Shell, it was there about 15 seconds and just said, I know what you're trying to tell me. If I just left after being here for 15 seconds, I know exactly what you're saying now, because pictures and videos don't do it justice. It's incredible.
I speak to my mum every day, and I was laughing today with her saying that I think, Ash, when we went, I think we was at the company 8 hours. Didn't we land something like lunchtime, and probably had like 4 hours in the afternoon and 4 hours maybe the next morning.
Yeah.
And when we came back, we changed all the branding, the headers and footers on. We revamped the website. We repainted the whole entire factory, and just went to town, didn't we, after seeing their branding? And I think Yellow Tools is such an amazing place. So I'm so glad Faye got to experience that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that whole distilling it now, because different people and different characters that go see different things. They're looking for different things. So we've got to be, I'll say careful. We've got to be on the ball of speaking with Faye to make sure she's seeing what we think she needs to see to learn, so that we can help her then develop that within the company. But it is, I think, just by the end of the first day, it's like, we're back here tomorrow. And she's like, my mind's blown. So But Michael's got it nailed for his cultural side, but every company's different. Serena and I have visited loads of companies around the States, and they're all unique in their own way. They're all doing something slightly different, and what works for one doesn't work for another. And you can see a lot of that is because culturally they're people. What works for Greg in Colorado is completely different to what works for Michael in Germany or Angel in LA, because the culture of the people that they're surrounded by is different. The pace of life's different, the people are different, the livelihoods and things are different. So trying to then take that person and engage them is difficult. So I think you're right. The enthusiasm of the team and confidence has come up. The videos that are coming through on WhatsApp now, before we were struggling is, can we get 1 or 2 videos? And now, there's way more coming through.
Sorry, in your Kaizen chat.
Facebook
in the chat,
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, did I say WhatsApp?
Yeah.
Sorry. In Messenger, so the little Messenger that we run, where when people are 3S and improving in the morning, they're putting those pictures up or videos of what they do every morning. It was a struggle to get a few up, but now they're going up. And it's not the quality of them brilliant all the time, but the fact that they're just doing it and being conscious of it is really good.
It makes a massive difference. If one person starts doing it, it starts the ball rolling, doesn't it? And everybody kind of jumps on board or jumps off the ship, I guess.
Yeah.
Circle of influence. Serena was talking about that the other day.
It's been something that I've really noticed over the last kind of few weeks. Is you don't need everybody to be on board with you all at once. If you just do what you know is right and you make your improvements, your circle of influence then gets larger, I guess. And people kind of see what you're doing, start questioning, and then it's like a domino effect. They start doing it, and then their circle of influence, and so on and so on. So with the videos going in the chat, like Ash said, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are fantastic kind of quality or anything like that. It's just they obviously get it to a point, and the more that people post, other people are, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And last thing that I've got is the Crm Facelift that was kind of finished yesterday.
Yes.
I haven't seen this.
It's.
I sound really bad because you mentioned it. I've not seen that.
No idea.
Yeah, I've not seen that. I don't really know what you're doing.
This is why we should get this catch up, because you're too busy travelling around Germany to know what actually going on back in place.
So this is the whole point about why, and even the fact that we're doing this now. So many things have changed in the company, and it's really good as a business owner to know that you've got people that are doing stuff in line with, like, say, we've sorted the vision out, so we're sort of all acting in the same way, that people are doing things, and I find out, oh, cool, I didn't know he was doing that, and you're working on this, that's really awesome. But it's really scary at the same time.
Oh, for sure, because you're such a control
I was literally about to say that, Shell. I was like, when you're a control freak, this will terrify you.
Yes.
Yeah. But then because I'm like distracted really easily by fluff and squirrels and stuff, that it's not too bad. I'll see a big, oh, what the hell's going on? But then I'm somewhere else anyway. So.
I think this is when Serena and I spoke, and I think that's one of our YouTube videos. It's like when you've got that tier at the top that kind of look after things, it kind of filters down, and the more pressure kind of comes off you as a business owner. You've not got to wear every hat then, because you've got people that take care of it. At the same time, you've got to make sure that your vision is not diluted. But that's where our meetings on a Monday with the top level, with tier 1, it makes sure that it's confirmed, so that throughout the week that's what you're working on.
Yeah.
Watch my drink over.
Mojito everywhere.
I wish. But that's all I've got. I can't think of anything else. But
I had the same.
It's been a jam-packed March. I think a slow start to the year, jam-packed March, and hopefully going into next month.
There's a lot happening now. We've got new machinery in that Jess is trying to figure out what we're doing with it and how to use it. There's another piece of machinery that I asked him to look at yesterday to go and buy. Just go find one and buy it, because I know it will make things easier for us. I think he gets a little nervous that I'm buying stuff without knowing what I want to do with it. But I know when I've got it,
you'll find something.
It'll be right. I know things will be, why didn't we buy this sooner? But some of the little bits that we outsource, we'll do in-house to begin with. But I know we can create more stuff with it. It's been clearing all the bottom end of the factory out, so we've got ready for new equipment there. And there's a beast of a machine that Michael has for us if we want it, so that's another conversation.
Yeah, I think another part of focus we've had this month is getting everything together for the kind of renovations. It's just the weekly kind of check in with it all, like make sure it's all moving, but that'll really help with the morale and stuff, like with break areas and stuff like that. It'll really help, and it'll get us back to where we were a few years ago. I think me and Shell spoke about it in another video, where we were at the start of the lean journey with all the low hanging fruit. I think we've got a lot of that to kind of get through, just with like renovation work stuff.
Yeah. That'd be good, because it'd be nice when we can open up for lean tours again, because I know everybody's pushing to get them on, because it really wakes people up, really gets people engaged when you've got the lean tours. So I've got I'm trying to get a meeting together so that we can get the police back involved and get them back touring us again. So, good. Exciting times.
It is. I think I was saying to Michelle the other day, I'm really excited for the rest of the year, because I don't want to jinx it, but because we've had such a strong March, it's kind of like we've got so much and it just feels like the ball's rolling, so we just keep it going. But if the whole year is like this, I can only imagine by January next year where we're going to be.
Hopefully in LA. Hopefully in LA.
Yeah. I'll stand by that one.
Okay.
Cool. Anything else?
What's on my side?
Good.
So thanks for your time.
Yeah.
Enjoy that.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
We got to do like a click and subscribe and press like, comment if people want to hear about more things in depth. If you want to know about how we're using Trello for our management system, and other things we've mentioned, then comment, and then one of you two can answer that.
Sure.
With pleasure.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye.